So when I went, mlango ulikuwa umefunguliwa, imeangushwa tu curtain, ipazia. So si nilifanya tu hivi pazia nikaingia. And nilienda nikapata my mom with the same man.
Man. Again.
Yes. Akaona kichapo haifai, akachukua chuma. It was like a tong. Aka plug in kwa stima. Akanichoma. Akaona hiyo haijatosheka, akachukua pasi. I wished for death, but it never came. I prayed for death, but death denied me. Just after delivering my baby, 3 hours later, nimemshika hivi. My daughter went.
Hello and welcome to our hot seat of my confession. Today I'm hosting a guest who was not only betrayed by her pastor, but also her mother. For further stories, hold your seat and stay tuned. Welcome. Hi Martha.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Karibu sana. Nimeshukuru kabisa.
I'm happy.
Kwa kunieka.
Karibu.
Mtikia tukae na wewe. Kindly introduce yourself and give us your story.
Okay. My name's Martha Soipan. I'm a mother. I'm a YouTuber and a single mother, not by choice, but by circumstances. Martha is a lady born in the early 80s in Pumwani Hospital, our Pumwani here in Nairobi, and raised in the slums of Dandora. But at the age of 2, my mom left me. And she went for greener pastures in Gulf countries, that is Saudi Arabia, and she took me to her elder sister in Nakuru, Njoro. So I will say I started my childhood life and my education in Nakuru, Njoro, where I stayed there knowing that my elder aunt was my mom. Don't forget, I was just born alone, no brother, no sister. So at the age of 10, I remember my mom came on her first vacation, and she transferred me from Nakuru and brought me to Thogoto in a boarding school. And nowadays they call it Reverend Musa Gitao, but during my time it was Musa Gitao Primary School. So I boarded there, and my mom left again. She went back. But now that I was in a boarding school, I was meant after school or on holidays, I would go to her elder, a brother who was just not living far away from our school. And also his kids were schooling in the same school, but they were day scholars. So for me, because I was a boarder, every holiday I was to go to their house. But that was not the case. I actually went to their house about 2 times. And it reached a point, I think I became a burden to them. And they first stopped coming to visit me during visiting days. So for me, I'll just sit at the gate waiting to see anyone, but no one will come. And so maybe my friends will call me when their parents come, and I will eat with them. And that was life until one day, remember, my uncle's wife and the elder daughter wrote me a letter. But that time I did not know the meaning, but today I know the meaning. They wrote me a letter and told me that I'll die of poverty. What? And that is why even my mom left me. She doesn't care for me. Nobody will ever care for me until I kill myself and dig myself a grave.
Really?
Yes. So I didn't understand what that meant. So I took the letter to the headmistress. And because the headmistress knew my mom was out of the country, because when my mom took me to school, she told my headmistress, I'm going out of the country. So my headmistress took the responsibility of raising me. So I became her daughter. And I really thank her wherever she went to abroad. I've always prayed God that if given an opportunity, I go to abroad, I'll go look for her and tell her thank you. And so when I was about to clear my class 8, my mom came. For me, I was very happy. I knew there was now time for me and my mom. But that was not the case. Actually, my mom came back and got married.
What? To another man?
Yes. So when she got married to this man, so every time I would go to school and come back on holidays, nilikuwa napeleka ushago kwa kina huyu mzee. So if we are opening on Monday school, I'll come back like on Saturday, on Sunday go to salon, plait my hair, on Monday back to school. So you can imagine a period of the whole holiday I've not been with my mother. Will you ever even have that?
You can't imagine.
Yes.
You
So
can't.
unless now you wait until now visiting days. And so we stayed like that, Jael, but that marriage didn't last. So when I was clearing my class 8, my mom came for me and told me not to go home after finishing my KCPE. And I asked her, niende wapi? She told me, I'll come for you. So my mom came and picked me. And now we had shifted. We used to live in Gara with this man. So we had shifted from Gara. And now my mom had, her younger sister had rented an apartment for us, like a small house in Gitaro, Wayakiwe. And, and so our life changed because, you know, when I got into that house, the first thing I saw was poverty. Because it was like a single room, tumekeleania vitu, feeding, yani, it was...
Everything changed.
Yes. And that is when I started now asking myself, will I ever continue with my education? You know, like my mom's money, all her savings, zimeisha kule, so this man has thrown us out. You get me? And so, by God's grace, my grandmother came and realized how we were staying. She was not happy. And so she came and told my mom, come to Kariobangi. My grandmother had a plot in Kariobangi and some rentals. Come, I opened for you a business. And so my mom went to Kariobangi and my grandmother opened her a small hotel. And so we shifted from Getaro to Kariobangi. Because now here tumepatiwa nyumba mzuri, we're not paying rent, alafu tunamwangalia the other rentals. And so we continued staying there until now when schools were reopening. And all class 8 went to Form 1. And Martha is at home.
With no future ahead.
Yes. And now you remember when I was in school, a cousin of my mom had spotted me. So the elder sister of this cousin came to visit. And when she realized I was at home, she was like, no, we need to make sure you go to school tomorrow. No. And immediately they tafuted a secondary school within Kariobangi where we used to stay. We got it. She took me to the market, bought me books and uniform, and the next day I went to school. And so after first term, second term, my grandmother came. And when my grandmother came and realized where I was going to school, she was like, no.
You can't school here.
No. And today, as much as she's gone, she's rested in peace, my grandmother was my mentor. She was my hero. She made sure I got the education that I needed. So when I cleared Form 4, I could not pursue my education. There were no funds. And so I started working. For me, I started working and I started doing promotions with agencies. And I remember I could do even 2 promotions. One during the day with like Safaricom. And then at night I'll do with BAT. There's this cigarette called Palmal. Hiyo nimeizungusha Kenya karibu mzima with an agency.
I know that hustle.
Yes. So it reached a point I gathered some good money. And nikatoa my mom from that castratia. Those people who know Kariobangi Kanyama, that castrate was not good. So nikampeleka main stage. There was a container, nikamkombolea. She had a very nice hotel and she would make money. So as much as nikifanya hizi shughuli zangu, I would say I fell in love. I met my first love and I don't know if it's falling in love because today I would not call it falling in love. I would say I was cheated. I thought I was in love, but I was not. Because this man, I can't even remember dating him for a while before moving in with him. You know, I found a man who would tell me I love you every day, who would call me every day, who would escort me to work. And when I'm leaving work, I'll always find him kwa stage ameningojea tuende nyumbani.
And that is
So
something
for
that
me,
any girl
I was
needs.
like, so someone can tell me I'm beautiful. So someone can give me attention. I've never found this. I've never felt it. And now I'm feeling it. And so when I fell in love, I moved in his house. The very first day I moved in was the very first day nilianza kuchapwa.
What?
Yes.
Mapenzi imeisha.
Na nilikuwa nachapua vitu hata siku hizi nakumbukanga, naona hata sijui nilikuwa nimewekwa dawa, nilikuwa mjinga, I don't know. Because I will be beaten because either I'm supposed to leave work 6, nafaa kufika kwa nyumba 7, nimefika 7:10. Utachapwa.
Only that.
Nimefika kwa nyumba, nimepigiwa simu, nitachapwa. Na maybe hii simu ni ya kazi. You see? Ni mwisho wa mwezi, anataka pesa, ameingia kwa wallet, amekosa pesa. Nitachapwa.
Na unavumilia tu.
I was beaten to an extent, it reached a point, if you could not beat me, I would ask myself, mbona leo sijachapwa? Because nilikuwa nachapwa daily. Na huyu mtu akuchapi na nguo Jael, anakutoa nguo zote.
What?
Na anazima stima. Up to today, me I always say that person is a devil. Because amezima stima na anakuona pale huko. Anakuchapa na Hamis. My cousin came and she was like, no, so ipan, apana.
It's high time you move out.
It's high time you move out. Na mbona nikiambia hata auntie, no my mom, akuji. Tena I'm like, anasemanga nini? So she went and told her, no, today Swepan is not in good shape. She's not. She was like, no. Ndio kona makosa. My son cannot beat her.
That is not your mother-in-law.
Yes. No, my mom.
Your mom.
Amembona my cousin to come and rescue me. Na hizo ndio words anatumia. So you can imagine when I was told those words. Na huyu mwanaume amelala akinichapa akiniambia, you're useless. Na naona unanga yes. Unanga kwa kuenda hata ukienda mamako anajuanga mimi wewe ndio uko na makosa. Nobody will ever love you. And if you ever live here, nitakuharibu. Utawahi pendwa na mwanaume mwingine. So, Jesus. And then your cousin comes and tells you, nimejaribu kuambia your mom akuje tukuokoe. She has said this. Where will you go? Jail.
You know, actually the most painful thing, your mom has took
you. Yes. Now, tell me, where will you go? This person has slept the whole night calling you names, telling you all those negative things. And then someone that you think will be on your back and support you, anasema, the son cannot beat you. The evidence is there. I cannot even move my finger. And where you used to live, hata angepigana, hakuna mtu angeingilia vita yake. Nyumba ilikuwa inafungwa na kiti. And so I remember I recovered. Not hata sijapona kabisa. Ikakuja. And this time I remember that nilikuwa nimetoka kazi. And I was so furious because like 2-3 days previously, alikuwa amekuja na mwanamke kwa nyumba. And because I had nowhere to stay and go, nilikaa tu kwa kiti wakalala.
Rafiki yake sasa.
Girlfriend
wake.
So in the morning akaenda and end month ikafika. And the lavidavi started because anajua end month imefika nitakuja na pesa. And so this time I had made sure I'm saving my money, sikupi pesa. Jail nilichapwa. Jail nilichapwa kichapo. Yani hata my worst enemy will not wish for her the same. Akaona kichapo haifai, akachukua chuma. It was like a tong. Aka plug in kwa stima. Akanichoma. Akaona hiyo haijatosheka, akachukua pasi. Aka plug in. Don't forget sijaipigwa na nguo. Napigango bila nguo. Kwa mgongo, jail. And I collapsed.
Alikuwa iron.
Ikiwa moto ame plug in.
Just stop it.
Really? And so I remember sikujisikia, and I think hapo ndio alitorokea. So when my cousin came the next day to rescue, to check on me because ajaniona 2-3 days, akapata the situation, and now the system like akamwambia tulikuwa tunangojea atoke tuingie cause kuna pali vita ilifika, so ipana kanyamaza tu. So we don't know what happened, hatujamuona. So they opened the door, they found what was going on, they took me to the hospital. And by the time I was waking up from the hospital, Jael, the doctor told me, why do you want to kill yourself and kill your baby? And I was like, Kanebe, you don't know you're pregnant. And I think for me being told I was pregnant, I got a wake-up call. I realized now it's high time I need to make a will. You know, I need to move on. I need to leave this marriage. But now, Jael, nimetoka marriage. Nimeenda kujikalisha. Lose jobs. Jia kushinda kumisingi kazi, kuenda na black eyes. You know. But I never gave up. I went and looked for like a small house near the bridge. Wala unajua Korokocho pande ya bridge. I used to pay that house. I used to pay bathroom. I used to pay toilet. I used to buy even water. Na nikaanza vibarua. Kufulia watu, kutafuta scrubs, kutafuta gazeti mzee. But that was not enough. Mwanaume bado alinifuata. So he will tie me kwa vichotoro. And he will beat me. And because I'm trying to make ends meet, because I know there's a baby coming on the way, sikuwa ifikiria ukipigwa ukiwa na mimba unafaa kukimbia hospitali. Na nikaendelea na hiyo maisha, Janel.
Hiyo time akuwa aware like you are expectant?
Alikuja na akajua na niwanda ananitema na nichapa. And I remember all this time, there's a time baka my mom's sisters, they came to look for him. Na tukamkosa. The other day ndo tumejua ni nani alikuwa amemficha.
Nani alikuwa amemficha?
My mom. I struggled, Jael. I struggled until when I went to deliver my baby. And my journey of giving birth to my baby was another journey. I went through pains. Labor. I labored. But when my baby came, because of the things I used to go through, the violence, I didn't know it was affecting my baby. Just after delivering my baby, 3 hours later, nimemshika hivi. My daughter went.
Pole.
It was so painful that I asked God so many questions. Because for me, I knew I've lost my marriage. But I have a baby who will give me hope.
Yeah.
And, you know, give me strength to just continue with life. But now she's gone. Who will ever give me strength, you know?
Yeah.
I felt very, very bad. I asked God so many questions. And I remember when my daughter died and I was heading home. That's when my mom came for me. And I remember after like a year, I decided I start going to church. And so I chose a church in the CBD where I would go and make sure I'll not miss Kesha every Friday. So Jael, nikaendelea. And one day the founders of the church, the lady realized me and she was like, I really need to know who is this girl. She doesn't miss church. She's always here on time. Kesha ni wa kwanza kufika, you know. And so one day I was given an opportunity. And so I went to the pulpit and I said who I was. Na I come here, now I fellowship here, So in every church, kuna senior pastors na junior pastors. Yeah. So one of the pastors, our junior, alikuwa naishi Dandora. So when alijua naishi Dandora, so after mass, alinifuata. So we exchanged contacts. Ndio at least tukue tunakuja pamoja na kama kuna fellowship Dandora, we fellowship together. And so for me, because this is a pastor, I know I was in the safe hands because I'm trying to heal for what I've gone through. Losing marriage, losing a baby, you know.
Yeah.
And so we continued, we were communicating, I'm still going to the church. And so one day this pastor told me, Swepan, kindly bring your CV. Instead of all these casual jobs we do, I have friends who can get you a better job. Unaona? And so nikatengeneza CV na nikampelekea. Where I used to live in his house was like 100 meters. It was a walking distance. So nikapeleka and me I waited to be called job ikipatikana. So after a while, siku moja akanipigia simu afternoon na akaniambia job imepatikana. Hata ule mtu anakupatia kazi ako na mimi kwa nyumba. What will you do?
Definitely I'd run.
Me I ran and I knew God has answered my prayers. Nikajua mimi hata nilikuwa naenda kwa barabara nikisema yenyewe kumrudia Mungu ni mzuri, kukaa na watu wa kanisa ni wazuri. But shock on me. Just because this man was already prepared. And all this time of bring your CV, get your job, it was grooming. I was being groomed and I didn't know. When someone wants to hurt you, Jel, and I've always told people and I'll always tell it out, that person always grooms you first before he or she hurts you. So when I got into the house, I knocked. It was a single room. So mlango ilikuwa inaingia na ndani. So nikaambiwa come in. Kumbe alikuwa nyuma ya mlango. So when I got in, mlango tu ndio ilisukumwa ikafungwa. And so you see, huyu mtu amesha kuattack kama you're not ready. So you are defenseless.
Yeah, true.
So nguvu by the time irudi kwanza uko na shock. Unaelewa?
Yeah.
And so whatever he wanted to do, he struggled, but alinishinda because nimeatakiwa unexpected. So he raped me.
Jesus.
And
a pastor.
Well, after today, when I remember that day, I feel like hata sijui. Nasikinga tu mimi ni mchafu, nasikinga tu nimedharaulika. Because I asked myself, kama mtumishi wa Mungu amenidharau hiyo kiasi, what about other men out here? Wamenidharau kiasi gani? And then he asked me out. Nikamwambia ninaenda aje? Umenirarulia nguo. Alinirushia sheet. And I went home.
With a sheet?
So hiyo my mom is sick. Jel my mama atoki kwa nyumba. Zile kazi nafanya ni kibarua. Huyu mtu amekufanya hiki kitendo. Who do you even, utaambia mama yako aje? Si utampatia depression akufe. You know. I felt so bad. I was defenseless. I was voiceless. I cursed God. I cursed that church. I cursed all pastors. I wished for death, but it never came. I prayed for death, but death denied me. And a month later, I started feeling bad. I went to the hospital. And the first thing, niliambia daktari nipime STD zote. Maka daktari akaniangalia zile za why. Unajua yeye hajui. So akaniambia, yeah, akaniambia you okay. Your problem is that you're pregnant. Like what?
Uko na shida zingine tena zingine zimeongezeka.
Akaniambia kuna ugonjwa uko nayo, ni mimba uko nayo. And so nikampigia the same pastor. Nikamwambia there's something I want to share with you. Akaniambia ndio niko kwa nyumba, come and tell me. So I went.
But this time, courage after defining you.
This time nimeenda, but nimesimama kwa mlango.
Prepared.
Yes. So nikaenda nikamwambia, here, akaniambia what is it? Akaniambia because of what you did, I'm pregnant. Akaniambia what? Sikiza na usikize vizuri sana. You're not my class. This is when I'm building my career, my platform. I will not let you destroy it. Angalia simu yako amekutumia 1000 bob. Can you go get rid of it? Nikamuuliza, am I not the first victim? How comes you know?
Yeah.
Abortion is 1000. Akaniambia this is not my burden alone. It is also your burden. So Jel, nikabeba mimba yangu. With God's grace, I went to the hospital. But because I think I was really going through a lot during my pregnancy. And in the first place, I hated that baby. Hata nikimbeba nilimchukia kwa sababu nilikuwa nashindwa. Wewe utaki kukufa, utaki kutoka, sikuwa prepared. Unajua ile anga. But when I got to the hospital, I remember that day, the doctor telling me, Martha, it's a 50-50 thing. We either save you or the baby. And for the first time, I felt a big connection between me and my child. And I asked the nurses and the doctors, for it was a long time I had prayed. I asked them, give me time to pray. And there's one prayer I prayed, I can't forget. I was still in Pumwani. I asked God, you took away my first child. Don't take away this one.
Yeah.
I promise to love this child. with or without the father.
Yeah.
I'll give him everything that he or she will ever need. And I went into the theater. Because of the complication, I could not deliver normal.
Yeah.
So I went to the theater. And God heard my prayer. Jill, I delivered a very adorable bouncing baby boy. You've seen him. Today he's 12 years. I am so happy whenever time I look at my son, because my son has always given me the strength to move on. And so when I delivered my baby, and when I was being discharged, I prayed to God and I told God, never allow me or never allow my son afike pali atamani kitu nisiwe na uwezo ifike pali aniulize who is the dad, because already the dad rejected him at conception.
And then the pain also he inflicted.
Yes. And God was very faithful. Mimi, I would get jobs after jobs after jobs after jobs, to an extent nikahama Dandora. I started living alone with my son. I left my mom comfortable until the year 2020. So when the year 2020 came, you all know COVID-19, and everything turned upside down.
Yeah.
And my mom's sickness came. But before it came, I was working. Being in the hotel industry, nilikuwa nakuja sometimes weekends very late. So I remember it was on a Saturday night at around 3 a.m. in the morning. Nimetoka kazi, nimekuja, and I'm so tired from work. Just took a shower and went to bed. And so when I went to bed, an hour later, I received a call from my aunt, the younger sister of my mom. And she called me and she told me, hi. I was like, hi, what is it? It's 4 a.m. in the morning. No, your mom has called me, but I've asked her to call you. Has she called you? Then I was like, no, she hasn't called me. Wait until she calls you. If she calls you, you'll call me back. Then I was like, is she sick? No, let her call you. Sasa nikashindwa ni nini kinaendelea. But after dropping her phone, my mom's phone ikaingia. Oh, she was crying, oh, please, come and help me, so and so wants to kill me. Where? Niliingia kwa nyumba. That picture mpaka leo haijaitoka kwa akili. I found this man in my mother's couch with a short and a vest. I've done so much for this woman. I've sacrificed so much. I've found myself in depths just because of her, just to make sure that her life is comfortable. But look at what she has done. I'll never forget that Sunday was black for me. I wanted answers, but I couldn't get. I seeked God's face. I couldn't get it. I wished death upon myself and my son just to leave this world, but it never came again. And I remember the next morning, I went to work, and days later, my auntie called me and told me that your brother has said, wameachana huyo mtu, amemshinda juu ya vita. So for me, I forgave her, and I just said, let's bygone be bygone. And a month later, she fell sick. Her sickness that had come when we were living in Dandora came in full force. She could not walk.
Jesus.
Angel, everybody left. And she was left with me.
As always.
She was admitted in hospital. I lost my job that March. And her bill was accumulating day in, day out. And I had to do what I had to do
As
to
a
clear
daughter.
for her bill. I forgot everything. I took her in. And I did what I had to do with the help from the sisters and friends and well-wishers until she left the hospital. But that was not the end. Because when she left the hospital, she could not walk. And she had a bandage from here mpaka chini kwa mguu because alikuwa anafanya mpaka skin grafting. So she will go to hospital today, skip tomorrow, go the other day. And she living here, my house, to Wayakiwe St. Peter's Orthopedic, kule alikuwa anatengenezewa, Uber was 2,000, plus ulipe dressing na kuona daktari. Unikilipa leo Monday, you skip Tuesday, you go Wednesday. Martha ana kazi. All my savings zikaenda. And that happened in a period of 4 months. Akika hapa. Don't forget niko na mtoto, I have bills to pay. Jael, nilijipata kwa madeni na COVID. Madeni mpaka leo hii.
Jamaliza kulipa.
I sacrificed. Had sickness made me sacrifice even my son's education just to make sure my mom could walk. But I thank God.
Yeah.
Because she walked. Na alipona. And by the 15th December, she was leaving my house. Alikuwa amepona.
God will bless you, Martha.
She was walking on her feet. And so, beginning of 2021, one Sunday afternoon, my son told me, why don't you go and see how Nyanya is doing? And I was like, let's go after Mass. So I remember that day I didn't even have fare. I borrowed a friend. And I decided, why should I call her? This is my mom's house. I can go anytime I want. Because we wanted to surprise her and to see how she's doing. And when we went, tukiwa tukaribu kuingia, there's a shop hapo kwa mlango. So my son asked, Mom, sijui alisema nimnunulie nini. I had 20 bob, nilikuwa nimerudishiwa change kwa gari, so I gave him. So mimi niliingia mbele yake. So when I went, mlango ulikuwa umefunguliwa, imeangushwa tu curtain, ipazia. So si nilifanya tu hivi pazia nikaingia. And nilienda nikapata my mom with the same man.
Man, again.
Yes. I turned. Nikapatana na mtoto wangu nikamchukua. Nikamwambia Nyanya yuko.
Actually, it was even God.
After today,
I imagine mtoto angebampiana hivyo.
So nikatoka. I came back to my house. Nilijidharau. Nilijiona mimi ni mjinga. Nilijiona sifai. And not only did wounds open again, but I imagine what I had gone through the year of 2020. Yani mpaka nakopa kwenda kumuona, and that is the same thing napata. Was it a lie? Sasa zake waliniambia or what, you know?
It's disappointing.
I felt so bad. Nikagoja hata simu ili
akuniambia tu pole.
I didn't. And so I just decided nikae tu na mtoto wangu, niendelee na vibarua zangu, nijiondoe kwa madeni.
God bless you, Martha.
Nione tu mtoto wangu amesimama na amesoma. But
actually you have a big heart.
But I thank God. Jael, I forgive her. It's her life. But I distance myself.
For and her own benefit, kindly do.
Yeah. And for the sake of my son. My son needs me.
A lot.
And when you know so-and-so is hurting you, it's good you distance yourself. Because vengeance will never repay. So I just decided to be on myself and do what is good for me. And at times I just wish I could go and disappear.
I know, Paul is kindly, Martha, as we wrap up, because this story is so touching. What kind of advice can you give to ladies who are undergoing so many challenges, especially they've been betrayed by their own blood? What can you tell them?
It's painful, Jael. And someone will just say, forgive too. that forgiveness is not easy. It's not easy unless you have Christ in you. Unless you have Christ in you. But I'll tell them one thing, that in every situation you go through, there's always a reason. There's always a reason. And God will never give you a burden that you cannot carry. He will never. Yeah. And it is good always to believe in God. Because for me, I will say it's God who has fought my battle, and it's God who has given me the grace to be where I am. Because if today I would have killed myself, I'll not be the sweeper you see today. I'll not even have the courage to encourage someone. I'll tell people that let God and Bible be your best friend, and never put your trust on men. Never. Never. Because in this life, when you're mourning, you only have one person. When you're in tears, you only have one person. When you're celebrating, you only have one person. When you're in tears of joy, you only have one person. And that one person is none other than yourself. So it's just good to compose yourself, put God first in everything, and no matter what you face, don't depend on people. Leave God to fight for you. Yes.
Thanks so much, Mother. Thanks so much. I lack words to express.
Thank you.
You're so strong.
Thank you.
And God will always be with you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
I just feel like hugging you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
I have tried to hold my tears.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
God loves you.
Thank you so much.